Hello, live with the SSRC, another edition. Welcome. I'm Haley Blackburn, right? One of the coaches that works in the Student Success Resource Center. And in this session, we are going to talk a lot more about just planning out the month and what is a planner, how to use a calendar, and how to maybe get a calendar that's going to be, what you need. A little more creative if that's what you like. You can be more straightforward if that floats your boat. There's so many different ways. So I definitely want to cover some things that have helped me. Hopefully it will inspire your calendar and really just talk about why it's so helpful to come up at the beginning of every month, plan out what is it going to look like, what do you need to do. So yeah, that's kind of the game plan for today. So first, we're going to talk about why create a calendar, number one. Second, right, we're going to go through, the key characteristics of strong planners, strong calendars. And again, I'm not talking necessarily buying a full-on planner or, completing a full journal. This could be digital. This could be a bullet journal, which are pretty cool if you haven't heard of them before. Or it could just be your simple to-do list. It could be on a dry erase board. It really depends on your life. But there's a few things that you really should consider putting into your calendar to make sure you're staying organized, staying on top of all your tasks, and getting everything done. And then lastly, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of my personal planners and calendars, so that way you can kind of see them in practice, because at the Student Success Resource Center, we really value lived experience, things that actually have worked for us, worked for other students, worked for our peers, and that just serves as a launching point for you to then go on and make strategies and tools that are going to work for you. So, why should we create a calendar in the first place? Well, the big picture is just to be able to visualize and kind of organize your life. And with school especially, but even as you continue on into, the workforce, your careers, it could also be your personal, goals, objectives, being able to have that concrete kind of, eye on the prize helps us actually meet those goals. And it's definitely been found that just writing down the tasks, writing down the steps, writing down the things you hope to accomplish increases the likelihood of you actually accomplishing those things. And so the very act at the beginning of every month, reflecting on what did you accomplish last month, what needs to be accomplished this month, is going to increase the likelihood that you end up accomplishing those things. So that's kind of part one. The other reason to come up with some sort of calendar system, again, especially for things like schoolwork, where you have so many different deadlines and due dates and things you have to fit in. Plus you have to remember, hey, is it your friend's birthday this weekend? It helps if we know that in advance so that we don't try to, plan on working that weekend if we know that we're going to be out, at our friend's birthday party. And so being able to see the whole month in advance actually helps us space out the work that we're going to do. And I'm really big on, doing little chunks of work at a time, starting early enough so that way we aren't procrastinating, but actually getting the things done in the amount of time that we want to. And so as a quick example, right here is my calendar. April is empty right now because, at the end of this, I need to go through and plan it out. But if we look back to something like March, or even February. All right, so March obviously got a little bit crazy. But when I'm talking about visualizing your month and helping yourself plan out so it's not as easy to procrastinate work, right, this is kind of what I mean. All right, so if we look here, you can sort of see, okay, I knew that I needed to get some things done, right? A dentist appointment, so what work can I do there? When do I want to get some work? So kind of marking out, okay, I'm going to work this day, here's a birthday party. Oops, not going to work that day, which means I need to make sure that I work this day, right? And so in a short nutshell, it's just giving yourself that ability to plan ahead of time. Give yourself enough days to work, in half an hour segments on each little project you need to do every day, so that way at the end of your week, you're done and you're good to go. That's good. And if you have a master calendar, then you can create your daily to-do list from the master calendar, but always have just a nice quick glance at what you're going to be looking at. Some drawbacks, right? Because I know we talk a lot about benefits. Calendars are great, so many benefits. But there are some drawbacks to think about and to actively, try to mitigate. And so I know what I found is if I put too many things on my calendar, then it suddenly isn't really going to be working anymore. Because packing the master calendar too full of tasks feels overwhelming. Because instead of being sort of a comforting, okay, I know what I need to get done, I know how to space them out, it suddenly becomes like, there's so many things on this page. And so that's one kind of pitfall I definitely recommend staying away from, right? Use your monthly, at-a-glance master calendar to get those big things, right? When is your exam? Put that on the monthly calendar. Okay, when is draft 1 of your paper due? Put that on the calendar. When is the presentation? When do you have to have a full book finished? Whatever the major things, put those on there. And then save all the smaller tasks, those daily to-dos. Okay, today I'm going to read pages 27 through, 35, right? Those little tasks, instead of putting them on the master calendar and sort of cluttering up that space, sometimes it can be better to save those for your daily to-do list based off of, what you have to do on the master calendar. So that's one thing. A second drawback, sometimes I find, is, right, you have to make time to do it. And that's also a little bit of an accountability check. And so if you ever feel like I just can't make myself make the time to do my calendar, that's definitely where you can schedule an appointment with one of the coaches, in our center, and we can just dedicate that full half-hour appointment to dedicated time to filling out your calendar. Sometimes just having a buddy with you, walking you through it, just being there can help as well. And so that's another reason why I keep my master monthly calendar bigger picture, because it also doesn't take me as long to do it, so it doesn't feel like such a challenge. But the reward is, huge for that. And so those are kind of like the two big things. Now, how to fill out your calendar. This is where the syllabus comes into play. Syllabus for class. It is a beautiful treasure roadmap. Absolutely. And so if you're not sure what kind of things to put on your master calendar, definitely I would recommend your first stop is to pull out your syllabus that your instructor gave you on the first day of class. It might be posted to Canvas under files. It might be integrated into the Canvas calendar. Maybe you got a paper copy. Find it, reprint it, pull it up, and look at the major assignments, right? Look ahead. There should be some sort of calendar due date table happening there. And so make sure that you go to your syllabus, look at the due dates, make sure that something hasn't changed in your notes with your instructor. Definitely reach out if there's any questions, but use that as a guide for your master calendar so you don't, get overwhelmed with extra little things. Focus on the big due dates for the calendar itself. Make sense? Cool. Let's see. So we talked about why you should have a calendar, right? The reason being visualizing at a quick glance. Talked about what you should put on your calendar, right? That's going to be your major deadlines, your major assignments, major due dates, your major life things. Like, I know that often we get really focused on classwork or sort of the school itself. But we can't forget to schedule in time for ourselves too, and schedule in the things happening in our life. So, if you, are also working, as so many of us are, and you have something, at work, a shift change or some other project due, a training you have to go to, make sure you put those on your master calendar so that way you can plan like your schoolwork and other tasks, again, around it. You're going to be busy this weekend, we got to schedule in a little bit of extra study time throughout the week, right? And then, but the personal things. It's your, mom's birthday. Schedule that in. You just are giving yourself a self-care day, going to go down to the museum or the zoo, put that on your calendar so it's there, you can look forward to it, and you can plan around it. So really, those are the main benefits, functions. Keep it simple, keep it useful. So the second thing I really just want to talk a little bit about is actually like what a calendar might look like. And so there's no right or wrong way, per se, to have a calendar. Again, the right way is the system that keeps you organized, that gets you the outcomes that you want, that helps you be prepared for your class, your grades. That's going to be the right system. But there's definitely some systems and ideas and strategies to consider that might get you there a little bit faster without as much trial and error. And so different types of calendars. All right, we went over this one already. Just a nice basic, calendar. I got this on Amazon for, I think it was like $9. But sometimes calendars can get a little bit pricey as well. So if you don't want, this doesn't kind of work for you, maybe, you can't find one that suits your style, maybe it's a little bit out of your price point, because sometimes when you go through Target, I'm blown away at how much they are charging for a basic calendar. So keep in mind, often you can find calendars like these as part of fundraisers. So you could help a charitable cause while getting your calendar. You can also print out calendars for free on Microsoft Word. And so if you're interested, I'll put a poll up on our Instagram stories after this, just kind of asking if it'd be helpful to do a little tutorial on how to create a calendar in Word. But it's a template, right? Open up your Word, new document. It should ask you if you want to create a template. They already have calendars there. It'll just ask you for the date, the month, and boom, you can just print out, a calendar for free right then and there. So that's really nice. That's another way to do it. If you aren't really a big fan of paper or printing things, then there are also 1,000,001 apps. I'd say with apps, just be mindful, as always, of privacy, right? And so I do use a lot of calendar apps on my phone, on my computer. I use ones that are already synced to work in school, so it's easy for me to look at my calendar on the desktop, leave the desktop, and then I can look at my calendar on my phone. And so those calendar apps can be really useful. Ones I personally enjoy, like the Microsoft one, schedule events connected to a to-do list. That makes it simple. I also like the Google one. I have a Google phone, so that makes it easy, but you can get that for Android. And then I, right now, am trying a calendar app called AnyDo, and it's like a to-do list and calendar in one. It's fine. I am still kind of feeling it out, but it is helping me stay organized and productive. But since I don't necessarily know, that app developer the way that I'm familiar with, Microsoft, to be more mindful of privacy on that digital calendar, I keep it more vague and kind of use more of like a shorthand for me. So where if I, I'm using like my paper calendar, I might actually say, okay, it is so-and-so's, dinner party at 7, like here's the address I need to go to, being a lot more specific with the details of my life. When I put it into my master calendar on my phone app, I just say dinner, 7:30, so that way I just feel like they don't need all the data on exactly where I'm going for this extra app. So that just being one tip. Love, love, love the digital apps. So easy to adjust things, put things in, always, in the palm of my hand. So I find it really helpful. You might as well. There's other apps that can sync directly to Canvas. I believe the Canvas app itself could get you that calendar. So kind of play around in the App Store and see what is going to be the one that works for you. But if you are using a digital one, just be mindful of what you are putting in there and kind of see if you can create a nice shorthand for yourself. So paper, print a free one on Microsoft as well. There's templates for it. Get a digital one, or your calendar could look a little bit different as well. So this is a normal planner, right? Buying these around. I think I got this at Target. Again, probably paid too much for it. These do also tend to be a little bit pricey, but it's still helpful. So as far as this planner and sort of calendar and how I used it, was from I really used it. I'll show you. You can see, right, I had printed out my class schedule, taped it right to the middle. This was from spring 2019, so last spring when I still had some classes. And, it's kind of nice because it's already set up for you with all the weeks in line. All the months are set up, and so that can be really helpful. So let's flip to April. So here's what I was doing sort of last April. I'll flip you around as we go through this. How's that sound? Ah. All right. Cool. So last April, that might be a little bit loud. You can see as far as this master calendar goes, right, writing down just the important things. So it's not too overwhelming. Like I was saying in the beginning, it's not the same as this one where I'm like, okay, I need to do this. Here's every little task that I have to do, right? Our master calendar at the beginning of each month should pause. Oh, I'm back. Okay. Your master calendar at the beginning of each month really should be more, right, big picture. So that's where I have, okay, guest lecture, just a big thing due. Article critique, something due, right? Here's something I really need to work on. But again, right, Kyle's party. My friend Kyle had a party, so I needed to make sure I also saw Endgame that morning because movies help me, feel good. So it is thinking about and planning out the major things in my life. So that way, boop, I could be more intentional. And I can sort of flip back and forth and say, okay, if I have a guest lecture on Wednesday, what do I need to get done? Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday to make that happen. And then, it's always nice to make little plans, goals. And so you can see, like every month at the beginning of May, I went through, okay, what are the big things happening in May that I need to pay attention to? So this type of thing, definitely that can work so well. And I really like pre-printed planners because it's all in one place. You can do your master calendar, flip to the next page right away, get to to-do list, get to tasks. You have the space to write down notes, what you need. So I did appreciate that kind of structure when I was, in class and had so many more things that I had to keep track of. Again, if cost is you're like, why is this so much money? On Adobe, you can get templates as well, or you can make them in Word, but I know that the Creative Suite has a lot of planner templates, and so you could print out, all the months, get all the weeks printed out, you can, adjust them so they match what you need, and then, get one of those 30-cent little binders, like the paper binders, and just print out all your sheets, 3-hole punch them, put them together, and boom, you have a planner that, you probably are making for less than $5 rather than paying $30. So that can be a really good strategy as well. And then there's another option still yet, and I found out about this style of planning and sort of keeping track of my life not that long ago, actually. And it is called a bullet journal. Have you ever heard of a bullet journal? The name is a little bit misleading, frankly, but I have really, really taken to this process, and I enjoy bullet journaling, or, I do a very loose interpretation of what bullet journals are. There's a lot of videos on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. I'll make sure to create a little playlist of journaling, calendar, bullet journal, inspiration, so you can go check those out if it's helpful. But the idea behind a bullet journal is it's blank, right? And so, whereas this type of planner, right, is all pre-filled out for you, the bullet journal is just blank pages. Sometimes they'll have grid lines, sometimes they'll have these little dots on them to help you create your own spacing and grid lines. but it really is just a nice blank journal. And so they sell, the style of blank journals at like Michael's for less than $10, $15. So you could definitely pick it up there. I ordered this one online. It was a bit more because I really, really like it and appreciated it. And so with the bullet journal, how to use that as kind of your master planner, and why I think that this can be a good option is because you get to customize it to be exactly what you need every month. And so, whereas this one, right, is really prescriptive. It says, okay, write down your to-do list. Here's the dates. Write down exactly what you're going to do every day, which can be helpful when you're managing a lot of different projects. I loved it. But this one allows you to say, okay, I do better with keeping track of all my projects and subtasks. And so in your bullet journal, you could write, okay, April projects. And then just, start filling out all of your April projects, and then, make subtasks. And you could do dates next to it that way instead. Or if you feel like you're a lot better at focusing on grouping your assignments. So all my exams, here's all the dates for those. You could make, 1 page of just all my exam dates at a glance. The opportunities are really pretty flexible for you to make the journal, the calendar that's going to work the best for you. So for me, in my bullet journal, I still like to put a little calendar map. So that way, I do have the dates there and I can highlight important dates. Again, master calendar. Focus on the most important big picture dates that every little daily task is going to stem from, right? That's the biggest takeaway. Focus on the big picture for your master calendar every month. And then I create other little sections and options for things like my projects, my ideas, little subtasks that I have to do. And so that, works really nicely for me. There's a page to kind of reflect. And bullet journals can also be helpful as an additional, kind of self-care. So if you feel like you are an artistic person or a creative person, or you just enjoy coloring, drawing, doodling, then, this kind of style of planner compared to, this one, compared to, right, this kind of calendar, it could be something that you might enjoy and try out as a way for you to relax, recharge, kind of recenter yourself at the beginning of every month as you actually are coloring in and drawing and creating your journal, and becomes much more of a relaxation process as much as it is organizing and tracking your life and your projects. And so that is a really exciting function of this idea of a bullet journal. Now, no matter which journal type you choose, pre-made journal, standard calendar, bullet journal, templates from Word that you print out, templates that you save on your computer and keep there, apps that you have, no matter the type, you do need to make sure that you have some section or area for important tasks, key projects for the month. Yeah, those will come from your syllabus, personal things, but you can call them something else. Maybe if tasks or to do doesn't really jive with you, call them stars. And that way at the end of the month you can see, how many stars you've collected because you finished those tasks, or whatever you call them. Just make sure you have some way to write down what has to get done that month. And there's always going to be something that has to get done. Even if it's a personal project where has to, is a bit more flexible, there's things that we all need to do in our lives. So make sure you have that on your calendar. That's a big thing. Second, make sure you have some place to take just little notes, write down your ideas, comments, whatever that is. So a lot of pre-made calendars already have a top task and a note column or page. And so use that, when you're planning your month, use that. And as you're going through the month, kind of use it to think about how things are going, what's on track, what's ahead of schedule, what's behind schedule, so it can help you that next month kind of get back where you need to go. So yeah, to-do list, or like things to do. A note page is going to be really helpful. And then I would recommend having one last section of sort of goals, right? And this is a bit different than your must-dos, right? Your must-dos are things like your assignments. You have to do your assignment if, you're going to get the grade that you want in the class, right? You just have to turn them in, right? But your goals section is things that you sort of aspire to in that month, right? And these are things that you might not, you don't have to do them, but they can be helpful. So if your must-do is take exam 3 on, April 16th, right? Maybe your goal for April is to study for that exam 3 on April 16th, 5 consecutive days before the exam, right? So it's like, do you have to do it? No, it's a goal, but it's a goal that you've chosen because it's going to be really helpful in completing the things that you must do. For me, I like to set some personal goals every month as well. And so you'll see my other bullet journal where I've made that space. And so like some of my personal goals are like finish a book. Last month, I really wanted to finish 2 books in March. I did not meet that goal. I read 1.5 books. And having that goal written down allowed me to reflect back on March and say, okay, why didn't I accomplish this goal that I'd set for myself? And short answer is, I did really great the first half of the month. I was reading every Tuesday and Thursday evening, just like I had planned out in my success goal worksheet, which you can also get on our website. And it was going really well. And that's how I finished 1 and then started the 2nd book. And then all this, happened in March. And I stopped holding myself kind of accountable to reading every Tuesday and Thursday night. And after reflecting back, I realized that maybe the evening is actually not a time that's going to work for me. And so thinking about my goals for April, I want to finish that half a book and then try to get through a whole 2nd book. So I'm still, my goal instead of 2 books, it's 1.5 books. Try to get that done in April. But I'm going to switch it up a little bit in my whole monthly master planner by saying, okay, instead of getting myself to do it every Tuesday and Thursday evening, that didn't work as well. I'm going to say, okay, on Sunday afternoon, maybe I'll try reading Sunday afternoons instead, because evenings I like to decompress in other ways, namely watching YouTube and Netflix, right? So having that master calendar that has a space for your must-dos, a space for your notes and ideas, and a space for your goals every month can help you really reflect and assess on what's working for you, what isn't working for you, and how you might want to change, adapt, grow into the next month. So that way you really, meet your own potential and become that you're really productive, like energized, healthy person that you want to be, because it just allows us to visualize, take that time, take that space to assess what we need. Okay. Yay! So for the last portion of this live with the SSRC, I do want to just show you some of my past planners and journals as a way to just, again, inspire. Like everything we do in the Student Success Resource Center is really based on what's worked for us, what's worked for your peers, other students, and what can inspire you to find the right fit for your life. Because just because it works for me, and I'm not you, but you can take the general idea, the principle, and then tweak it to make sure it fits your life, your classes, your job, your career goals. So that's what I want to show you next. And hopefully that will inspire you to get your April planner all set up and ready. And if you do want to spend more time with me, definitely you can make an appointment and we can video chat and go through our April plans together. So first, I'm going to show you this one. So this is my more personal planner. And so you can definitely see how I've adapted this planner to be different from my work planner because I have different needs and goals. And so this one is a lot more focused on my dissertation work as I'm finishing up that school project. And this one is a lot more focused on my work as a success coach and a person here to help you and here to help UNC. And so those are kind of the two differences. And then I showed you March a little bit, but I will do a similar thing for my April calendar. After you get off live, I'll post a picture of how it looks when it's all done to our main Instagram. But I'll go through and see like, okay, I have some things I have to do for my dissertation in April. Basically, I need to get a code book finished and create another meeting with my advisor. Speaking of meeting with your advisors, stay in touch with them. And if you haven't met with your advisor yet, registration, right, happens in April. That's a big thing to put on your master calendar when you can register this month. So make sure you've talked to your advisor so you can get that pin ready and going, and just check in with them because all of your advising staff and the coaches here want to know how you're feeling and want to try to help you in any small and big ways that we can. So I definitely will be planning out the major deadlines and due dates for April. All right, so let's do a little walkthrough. Yay! All right, so one thing that I like to do in my planners, you'll notice, I like color. I think color, it helps me stay motivated. It makes me want to look at my planner, which is another reason I like bullet journals over prefab planners. But you could totally color in a planner like this if that's what suits you. But I like to be able to play with some colors. Keeps me more engaged. I also like to create a year at a glance. So I have kind of created this page so that way at the end of the year, I'll be able to look back and just see, okay, what are the things that I did accomplish? What are the things that I'm proud of? What are the things that I didn't quite get done with that I could work on? It's just really being realistic with ourselves and honest so we can look back. So this is my sort of year at a glance. You can see I start with the month, and I'm going to color in the month with the corresponding sort of color that I'm going to use. Now, I am not artistic. I do not have strong artistic skills or abilities. So I don't have a lot of doodles. You'll see when you search on YouTube, other people's, custom planners or bullet journals often have a lot more doodles. And it's awesome if you can do that. And if that speaks to you, I wish I could, but I'm just not. And I know for me, I have to keep my bullet journals simple or else I'm not going to do it. I don't want to spend hours and hours. I'm not kind of at that level. So I like to keep it really simple, and I basically keep the same layout every month. So that way it's relaxing because I know what I'm doing, but I can finish a new spread in half an hour instead of spending a whole day. That's kind of my thing. So other things that I like to do, kind of flip it around again. You're going to get a little bit of insight. Okay, so, right, I like to just have the month there. Right, you have a kind of place for the projects, all the things that I, did. Some just health stuff that I like to keep track of. And then, like I said, I like to set a monthly goal. And we actually have a worksheet for this on our website too. So, let me know if you are interested in our switch goals. So I do that every month. And then I like to track my creative growth, right? So in January, I only finished this half of a book as well. I'm trying to read more. It's hard. And then I like to learn something new. So I'm trying to keep track of new things that I've learned. Then I always have a brain dump section. So this is where I was saying it could be nice to have a place for you to write down just all of your ideas. And so it's every month. Now I know. In January, I thought about podcasting networks. And then this is my kind of to-do list. And so I have things that I needed to get done that month, including I, fill out FAFSA 2, organizing, that kind of stuff. And then I also like to have a little space for my weekends to just kind of keep track of what I'm doing every weekend. And so you'll see, right, very similar. Month, health stuff, projects. I did do projects, but I did not reflect back on them. So I should do that. I have my switch goal again, right? Trying to read more books. My plan to read them Tuesday, Thursday nights, right? Got to keep adding Sundays in. Books, what I learned. Boom. And I did, in fact, I finished that book and read a Black Panther novel. It counts. Brain dumps, to do, weekends, right? So very simple spread works for me. So now here's March. I need to reflect and fill out all of this. Put out my March. I got my switch goal, got my creative growth, got my brain dumps, got my to-do list, got my weekends. So my next step will be picking a new color and then, working on, right, this new page. So you can see bullet journal's blank, but I am going to keep it in that same, style because it just works for me. So that is for my personal kind of life and goals and dissertation stuff. Now this one is more of the work one, right? Just doing a little decorating, kind of key things. I have a big kind of parking lot idea, which I thought was kind of fun. And so sometimes at the beginning of a new month, I'll go through and say like, okay, what can I pull over as a monthly goal from this parking lot? So that way things actually get done. This one I switch up a little bit more, but again, I keep it simple because I cannot handle doing too much. So I got the month, right, name, projects I've been working on, brain dumps get pulled over, and then kind of a month in review, right? Month, this to keep track of important stuff, brain dumps, monthly. And as I kept going, you see it gets a little bit better and better as I got, honestly, just better at doing it. Right, October, got a little more like fun with it, but always the same because brain dumps projects help me. So if we flip ahead to April. So I've already done the penciling and the line work. So I just need to fill in my monthly calendar, do a little decor, but you see, right, I still got month. This will be the calendar. Next page, I'll have my brain dumps and my projects all kind of set and ready for me to fill them in with the excitement of a new month. So what I need, I'm going to post a poll as well to our main story, so definitely click over to that, share it, participate, because I need to know what color represents April. So I'll post that poll, definitely vote on it, and when I get the results, finish it up, I will post, a photo of what April is going to look like. Might do some little doodles, we'll see. But that is, in a nutshell, some thoughts, some ideas on planning and master calendar. So just to review what we've talked about in the last, half an hour, 40 minutes. First, at the beginning of every month, create your master calendar for the month, right? You might use a normal calendar, right? And with this, you want to focus on the big deadlines, the major things. So put in the exam dates, the projects, the due dates, the parties you're going to, the birthdays you need to remember, the volunteer things you're going to be doing, the interview that you have, whatever it is, big things on here only. Save your specific little tasks for your daily or weekly to-do list sections, but having the master calendar in place will make your to-do list browsing that much easier. So that's step one. Step two, pick the medium and the type of planner that is going to work for you. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. The right answer is the one that you can do consistently and use effectively, right? So for some people, it might be, this is all you need. Just this on the wall, you know what you're doing. For others of you, maybe you need a planner that is pre-made. So all you need to do is flip to, it's April. Let me fill in my April calendar. Others, maybe you like digital things, and so you're going to use an app, and you're going to fill in all the important dates on your app every month. Others, maybe you want to create your own template using Word, print it out, save it to your computer, or maybe you're more interested in creating your own totally from scratch with a blank journal in this style. whatever the system is, as long as it works for you, that's the money. As long as it keeps you organized, that's what you want. As long as it keeps you on track, meeting your goals, turning in your projects, just kicking butt at work, whatever it is, make sure that you stay organized that way. And then the last thing is just with your system, make sure that you are making it functional. So if you choose, a more prefab one, that's great. Don't force yourself to fill in every little section. Make it work for you. So if notes, doesn't resonate for you, for example, mine, it just has notes here, but I actually used notes as top priorities. So even though it says notes, I knew in my head that was my top priority section. So make sure it works for you. If you don't like calling them to-dos, then don't. Call them, whatever resonates with you before I use stars as an example. Because I think that sounds fun. I might start doing that more. I caught this many stars, or I picked this many flowers this month, which means I did X many tasks. And yeah, function should also mean something that relieves your stress, recharges you, okay? And that's the last important one. The whole point of creating master calendars is so that way you know what's going on every month, and so that way you're able to visualize it, conquer it, ultimately feel a little bit less stressed because you know what's in front of you, how to plan for it. It's on the page, you can see it. And, if you're able to color it in or doodle, or, if maybe hand lettering soothes you or whatever it is, you could, cut out magazine letters and pictures and put that in your journal. Whatever it is that kind of makes it more of a fun activity that you can look forward to every month, that's what you want to do. So, thank you for joining this live with the Student Success Resource Center. This episode was on planners, calendars, setting up a master calendar. Definitely reach out with any questions, clarifications that you have, and follow us. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be posting more and more of these live streams on various topics. So if there's a topic that you want to hear about, definitely give us a DM, let us know, and check our stories and feed for end results of my planning. All right. We'll see you later, Bears.